And then you're gonna transform it, and when you're ready to take it and make it its own thing, you just go. And then I say, we don't do this. Then transform it together. So you guys check it out, whatever you're doing, go heighten, you heighten, she'll go with you. And then once it's turned into something new, then you take that and go. Okay, all right, so just do something, just whatever you're doing. Keep doing that. And go further. Give yourself some chance to do that. Don't just go to the next person. So just go, go. So do your sound, but something totally new, totally new. Just start over. So sometimes two people will be going at the same time, maybe two people will take the focus at the same time, then we'll just keep going, work it out. If everybody keeps, once you realize, oh, hey, somebody else is doing it, you can just stop. But I don't want you to think about what you're going to do beforehand. I just want you to focus on what's happening. It'll be hard. You'll have thoughts come in your head every 2 minutes. That's fine. That kind of quick brain activity is what is known as old higher education. That's fantastic in every other part of your life except right now. So I just, if you think, I'm going to do this, now just let it go. It just falls out your ear. Fine, acknowledge it and let it float away. But yeah, so the only thing is, try to get a sense of letting that person establish so that we're not like, somebody goes, ah, right away. We're not trying to jump on each other. We're going to let them have their moment. And then when you feel in the perfect world, when you are inspired to act, you will act. And you'll just do it on the computer. All right, so somebody you start. You start, sir.
I'm a right now, 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 I'm a right now.
What is it about this room that just makes everybody's bad shit crazy? That was awesome. So, thoughts about those two different exercises? Thoughts? How did it feel? Was one easier than the other for you?
I thought it was really cool how, except for maybe once or twice, everyone had a really good sense of where the focus was, and it didn't seem like everyone had the same impulse at the same time. So it was really good sharing and group work.
Yeah, and I love the end when it was just two of you. That's awesome. I feel that's fair. Yeah.
I thought everybody connected with their bodies really well. Like that's something that you don't always get to see. So it was really cool to see everybody, like what they were saying was connecting with their bodies. They were grounded in everything we were looking for.
Yeah.
I found this to be very true for me, and I think based on like the results, true for most people, is that the abstract noise and movement exercises are much easier than the rhyming one. Because the rhyming one, you get caught in your brain and you go, I don't know, but with the abstract one, you can, whatever your impulse is, you just let it go.
Yeah, and that's just so you know, almost any other group of people would say the exact opposite. Because you're actors. And you spend 4 years paying your money to roll around on the floor. You sure do, and it's awesome, and I'm certain about it. It's great. But yeah, that's good insight, and that's true. Like, most people would be like, do what? And now, like I said, if you do this with a group of improvisational performers who aren't necessarily, don't have an acting background, this will turn into monologues. It'll just be your body's walking and somebody talking about something. And it's just like, a squid hanging from their head. This is nothing, I have to, they're moving, but, so for you guys, yes, it's great to watch. But that is much easier. For you guys.
I find it personally pretty difficult to acknowledge when impulses come, but the one time that I did follow through with something, it felt good, so I can recognize when that feels, right and things like that, but I'm having a hard time recognizing when things come up in the first place.
So you mean like, you feel they're not coming, or you feel like you don't really act on it?
Not coming.
That is interesting because, we talk about in improv that you are empty. You go in empty. I mean, improv can really run the spectrum to like super duper smart, heady, all wordy, and then it can be way on the other side, the white light, spooky part of improv, which is that you walk in, seek to discover. You walk in empty and something comes. Now, the challenge comes every once in a while. If you really are truly empty, then nothing. You might just be like, hey, I'm so in it, but I'm just in it. So, I think, if you're finding that it seems, did you take an improv? Are you in the improv class? Or
No, I haven't taken improv.
Oh, okay. And when you get into improv, if you find that, that where you're not feeling like, oh, there's just nothing coming, your part, you find it in improv. You use that anchor, whatever. It's going to help sort of inspire you.
Yeah, going off of hers, I tend to try to search for my impulse instead of listening to it. And I found myself that time, there were so many times the impulse came when I didn't act. And then the one when I just let it all go and went through it once. That was the one time I felt like I truly listened to it. So there's definitely a difference.
Yeah, I think it's finding the, we were talking earlier about, sort of learning to improv, I think more so than theater where you have a script or it's a set product, everyone's doing it the same, we talked about it before, doing whatever the told you or whatever you decided to do. It's always you, but it's you in this role, it's you in this set thing. Improv is just you, and so your natural tendency tends to come out more, which is great, which is why people who are good at successful improv performers are people that come across to the audience. I can have all the skill in the world, and if the audience doesn't is not the best word, but if the audience doesn't connect to you, it doesn't matter. They have to connect to you and feel you have to somehow like you or relate to you. Like makes someone pandering for their flaws, which you want. But so you have to sort of you have to be able to know who you are, what your tendencies are, and know how to use them to your advantage.
I kept having impulses at the same time as other people. Didn't know if I should follow through with that.
I think it was good you stopped. I think you could have just gone like the second time and just been like, but I think that you started very bold. I think you were over here in the corner. It was all good. Anybody else? Yeah.
Kind of similar to what they were both saying. I feel like, especially in a setting where it's moving so quickly, I have a hard time deciphering between when I'm planning and when I actually have an impulse, because especially in a setting where it's it doesn't matter, you don't have to go right away. You can just decide when you feel like it's the right time. Then I'm like, well, am I planning or am I going with an impulse? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's why I asked which one was easier, because people fall out into two different anything until that person comes right to me and gives it to me it's easier for me to not get into my head. And some people say the opposite. Some people say that's too much pressure to have act when someone comes to me. I prefer to just be able to go when I want to go. There's no, right? It's just kind of, again, it's sort of acknowledging for yourself, like, yeah, I get in my head. And I would say, anytime you're in your head, a good way to get out of it is just really focus on it and not in a trying to interpret it way, in a like, just watching and like, you know, doing it in your head and mind, you're doing the same thing you're doing. But, yeah.
I had a question. On the last exercise, I felt I had two different types of impulses. And there was one where I was like, I want to do this. And then there was the other one where it's like, oh, it's been a certain amount of time, I feel awkward, we should do something. Like, is the second one something you should follow through or let go?
I'd say for this, let it go. Because if you're in that sort of, wow, this is weird, then you're outside commenting. Like if that was, you're in a scene. If you're in a scene and you're thinking, this is going on too long, what's happening, the audience isn't laughing, if that's the conscious thought in your head, you're dead. You know, it happens all the time, but you have to let those go when they come into your mind, just let them go. Cool. Awesome. Okay, let's get to like half the group up. Can I make a little circle? Maybe a couple will be the second. All right, so we got some people, and there's people in this group who are here early. Okay, so you guys kind of know where we're going here. So this is what we're doing a riff. This actually has been done as a performance structure before. It's a little weird, so a lot of people don't do it. So essentially, what you're going to be doing is, we're talking about the idea of follow the follower. Nobody leading, nobody taking the lead and making things happen. So you're just going to start out with so your efforts to be real neutral. And we're just going to notice. We're just going to put your consciousness in everybody here and try to pick up any kind of little movements. Pick up on. If we might stand here for a very long time, we're not doing that. And then start once you notice that. this miracle. And how'd it feel? I had to dip out. I was like, shit. Oh, God. Seriously, I'm going to be sore tomorrow. Good, good. Did you feel the moments when you thought, we're done, right? Yeah. You had about this. I like those that you went there as a group. You would all be like, ah, what? Oh. And so what was sort of the thought process, if you could recognize one of those moments? What was going through your head? Yeah.
I'm tired.
Right, exactly, yeah. When we were doing this, probably we're all kind of feeling, viewpoint, stop it. That's really interesting. That is interesting because you were thinking where this is going to go. And I like though that you went with everybody. You know, the bad thing to do is if you're like, this is what's happening, I'm going to make it happen. Try to direct. So it's good to have those thoughts. It's okay to have some mind. Here's where we're going. Just as long as if it doesn't happen, you're like, okay. So we're doing something else now.
What's that realization in the group that it wasn't stopping? Everybody started picking the small movements of breathing, and then we go back and like,
Yeah. Like a reset.
I was going to say, like, it felt like there was moments, I was like, okay, we're done. And I was like, almost like I was on a train and it kept going. And I was like, oh, gotta get back on the train. Come on, we do this.
It's doing so fast.
Yeah, I love when we take breaths as a group. Like, we would go from high to low, so transitionally. Like, it's just, we would take our breaths and we needed them together. So but we knew we were still in it, but it was just like, okay, we can step back for a moment.
Yeah, and that's sort of testament to you guys, having that really sort of being in this space of weirdness, being used to working as a group, that when you hit those walls, you knew, okay, we have to start again. Ideally, you would never have those moments. The point of this is that that moment happens in a scene. We're done, except you're not done. And there's only two of you, and that's when the scene stalls, and you're like, crap. We've got nowhere to go, and that's when people just start saying random crap, and the scenes just go weird, and they're not interesting, and you're like, why does this scene feel awful? And you're watching, and you're like, man, they're all over the place. It's because you hit the moment of, I'm tired of this. I can't keep going, so let's just let the air out of the scene. I always feel like it's like if somebody let the air out of the balloon, you just watch the scene go and peter out. So the idea behind this is the physical embodiment of the only way forward is through. And you will get tired. And you saw the time you saw too, the times it did come in. Yeah, you can only go wah, wah, wah so many times before you physically just, you can't do it. But you all get there together. Because what you'll start to do is, your body can't do it anymore. So slowly, people go from, you're just, because it's the next natural thing. Just like, this shit is hard. And you just keep going, and if you're really, truly connected and paying attention, then everybody goes on to that next thing, right? And it's hard. So rather than think, when you hit those moments of, I'm tired, we're done, right? You just do whatever you're doing more and trust that on the other side is going to be the next thing. And then it's going to be way more interesting than what you would have arrived at if you stopped. Here's what's still going. All right. And watching
He and I were laughing because it was, having seen two of these before and having been in them from the earlier session, it was that thing of, oh, they're going to get tired, they go onto the ground, they get totally together, and like you were saying, how, of course, they're all going to look the same because you can only do so many certain things when you're starting out. And it was just funny watching that and being like, yeah, of course that's going to happen because that's just what happens.
Right, that's what bodies do. There's only so many things you can do. Which is great, And they really, no matter how long you do, they all kind of look the same. But yes, they do all tend to start with the same. Because again, they start because it's usually the only thing, if you're really relaxed and neutral, this is the only thing. So they usually start with breaths, or somebody does this, or somebody does some toes. That's good. All right, anybody else? Any thoughts?
All there's always this, like, it gets faster, and then it gets slower, and then it gets faster, and then it gets slower. And that just seems to be the repeat thing. Faster, 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 faster.
Right, because you heighten, and again, that's just because that's what bodies do. Go as hard as you can, and then your body goes, we gotta slow down. And then you slow down. Yeah, it's very, like the waves of the ocean. All right, cool, so let's just try